When you talk about Berkshire Hathaway, who is the first person you think of? Usually, it should be Warren Buffett. However, if the company lacked another soul, it would not be where it is today. Those who are familiar with investment already know that this person is Warren Buffett's long-term partner, Charlie Munger. Today I want to share a book with you, Poor Charlie's Almanack. It is a collection of speeches and talks by Charlie Munger. Get a taste of how a low-key and successful investor invests, and you can gain something in your work and life decisions. Today's sharing is mainly divided into two parts. In the first part, let's look at how Charlie Munger works in the enterprise, applies his values to investing, and achieving financial freedom with Warren Buffett. The second part summarizes the 3 pearls of wisdom of Charlie Munger. Before starting, welcome to subscribe to us so as not to miss more content that will make you rich. When it comes to the investing methods of Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, value investing comes to mind immediately. What is value investing? Every investment is made by both buyers and sellers. We must estimate a price for a company, which is called the intrinsic value of the company. As a seller's market, we will randomly give a price every day. If this random price is higher than our intrinsic value, we will sell. If the price is lower than the intrinsic value, we will buy. The difference is called the margin of safety. In theory, we all hope that the more margin of safety, the better, but this will cause a phenomenon. When Warren Buffett invested in his early years, influenced by his teacher Benjamin Graham, he often liked to buy very cheap companies because the margin of safety was very high. He called this cigar butt investing. But the reason why many companies are cheap is because of poor business management, even at the risk of failure. Berkshire Hathaway used to be a nearly bankrupt textile mill. Warren Buffett bought the company because it was good, and as a result, the company's operations continued to deteriorate, and Warren Buffett had to buy the company completely. So, Charlie Munger later told Warren Buffett that affordable price is one aspect, and more important is to find a good company. If you can't have both a good company and a cheap price, you would rather spend more money and buy a good company. The valuation is fair. A great company is better than an ordinary company with an ultra-low valuation. So, what kind of company is a great company? Charlie Munger believes that a great enterprise should have its moat, investing in a company with a moat. In ancient wars, a moat was the best barrier to block the enemy. And the wider the moat, the deeper, the advantage to oneself will be greater. In the fiercely competitive investment world, a moat is a barrier to protecting the investment and development of one's own business. What is an investment moat? For example, a well-known brand is a good moat. If the Coca-Cola factory disappeared overnight, we will not stop drinking Coke. The company can borrow money immediately and rebuild the factory to continue production. Where do you go to find a great company with a moat? This brings us to the third point we are going to talk about, knowing your capabilities. Warren Buffett once said that what makes him and Charlie Munger special is that they know very well when you are in the center of your competence and when you are deviating from it. Charlie Munger adds that if you doubt whether you are in your competence, you are already out of it. The application of this sentence in investing is to invest only what you can see, understand the industry. This principle also makes Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger miss many excellent companies, such as technology companies such as Google. But this does not affect their profits from investing in companies they trust. They can persist in the stock market for 60 years. Investors, there are only 2 of them. Their principles seem to have abandoned many potential excellent companies, but such firm investment principles allow the 2 to make profits in turbulent markets. It is precisely because the companies they buy are all companies that you understand, so you won't panic when the stock market falls. Charlie Munger said, "If you like a company, write down your reasons for buying in 5 words. This way your buying logic will be clear. Once you can't hold onto it, when you are sold in panic by the market, see if your reason for buying it in the first place still exists." We always buy companies that are out of our reach because we choose too many companies. Maybe we just heard a piece of news and decided to buy. But is it good? Charlie Munger, the fourth point of investment wisdom is to reduce the number of choices. Warren Buffett once gave a piece of advice that can change the investment situation of most people in a speech. This advice is very simple, just give it to yourself. There are only 20 on a punched card position, punch a hole for every investment. What this means is that if you can only make 20 investments in your life, you will carefully consider each investment and will naturally study the company harder. A lot of times we are in the stock market. The reason for the loss in the middle is that the trading is too frequent. When you see others making money, you buy together, and you enter the market at a high level. At the same time, because you don't know the company, the stock price falls slightly and then loses confidence and sells. As a result, the stock price rebounded the next day and then was unwilling, entered the market at a high level again. It fell into a cycle of losses. Charlie Munger believes that it is enough to make a few important decisions in life. If you like a company, you must seize it. Investing is like fishing. You need to be able to sit down and wait and pull the rod quickly when you see an opportunity. These are based on the opportunities you wait for after a long period of observation. If you lift the rod to check every 3 minutes, it is impossible to catch big fish. This book not only introduces Charlie Munger's investment wisdom but also many life philosophies from Charlie Munger. Here we introduce 3 of them. The first is to learn to think backward. You may wonder why this book is called Poor Charlie's Almanack, because Charlie Munger is so rich. The idea of poverty is also a unique way of thinking of Charlie Munger. Invert, always invert. If you want to make money quickly, you may have no clue. Or you may think a lot about buying stocks, Bitcoin, and real estate. Is it the right choice? But if you want to think about how to quickly spend the money you have now, it is very easy. If you are not serious at work and do not have the patience to do anything, you will succeed or fail. Reverse thinking is to help us simplify the process of thinking and find the best solution. To give another simple example, if you want to invest in a company now, in addition to considering how much money you can make, also think about the circumstances under which you will lose money. Then think this is a good investment. Charlie Munger's second life wisdom is the use of multiple thinking models. The school divides us into different departments. The purpose is to educate talents who are good at a certain field. But this kind of specialized education allows us to, when faced with problems in life, it is also accustomed to using a single way of thinking to solve them. Simply put, a multi-dimensional thinking model is a cross-domain knowledge and analysis method. Charlie Munger believes that dealing with problems in a single way is a stupid way. If you can master different disciplines and integrate them into the analysis, when dealing with problems, you will find that there are several differences, but they are related to each other. For example, you will find that many powerful investors have undergraduate degrees in philosophy or history, are graduate from the Department of Finance, but later prefer to study philosophy. George Soros, who was famous for sniping at the British pound, has been studying his theory of reflexivity over the years. These seemingly unrelated disciplines are the same. Learning to combine the analytical method of traditional disciplines keeps oneself in dialectical thinking all the time. You may think, how is it possible to know so many fields of knowledge? It is indeed difficult for us to do it in life, but we need to remind ourselves of the limitations of thinking that often appear, and then try our best to expand our cross-field knowledge. Currently, reading the habit is very important. Charlie Munger is very fond of reading. He gets up on time every day and spends a lot of time reading various news, financial reports, and books. He also takes books with him when he travels by car and plane. He said that the smart people he met in his life, there's nothing you don't read every day. Pick up a book now and start reading. The third philosophy of life is that Charlie Munger summed up 25 kinds of people's psychological tendencies. These tendencies can make people's brains malfunction. Next, I want to share with you 3 psychological tendencies. In our daily life and even investment, we can often see people behave like this. First, avoid the inconsistency tendency. This tendency allows people to accumulate a lot of rigid conclusions and attitudes, and don't check them very often. It's a good idea, not a bad idea. When you don't like this investment target, you will stop immediately if you find it wrong. When you love this target, if it starts to lose money, you want to inject capital again. Otherwise, the past efforts will be in vain. This is because you want to maintain the consistency of your previous choices. In life, if you always think you can't work, you may always seek entrepreneurial opportunities. Or others will label you rebellious. You may also maintain such a development trajectory. Therefore, this psychological tendency has advantages and disadvantages. We need to examine ourselves in time to see if we are going in an incorrect development direction. Second, is the tendency to be deprived of super reaction. Charlie Munger said in his speech that the common problem of those who are broke is that they cannot properly deal with psychological denial. They cannot accept that the energy they put in will not get good results, which leads to strong emotions and irrationality. In the end, the deprivation super response syndrome is triggered. When investing, people are prone to this situation. Think about it, the original stock price has been rising all the way, and you are about to make a lot of money. When you see the stock price fall, most people will not accept it, more likely to want to invest more to prove themselves right. In this way, it may even go bankrupt in the end. Third, it is prone to simple associations. This will make people ignore them because of past success. Some things have led to the current failure. Charlie Munger also mentioned in his speech that we should learn to do pre-lists. These lists are often very simple, but we often ignore them. For example, if you are going to buy real estate, you can put all your needs right in the list. When visiting the house, excluding the options that do not meet the conditions of the list. This way you will not choose a house that does not meet your future needs due to temporary carelessness. One video is far from enough to introduce the greatness of Charlie Munger. He has been sincere and kind throughout his life and has always maintained his values. He is an object worthy of our respect and learning. His success is destined, just as you watch here, to get rich. Study hard, persevere, and you will also be rich. Here is Monoponey. Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.